majestic Motor City skyline. We are live from the Palace of Auburn Hills for this Eastern Conference battle featuring the Pistons here in Detroit. A time-honored tradition, the NBA on 2K Sports. Williams is checked in for Drummond. The Hornets also with the sub. Biyombo, he's checked in for Cody Zeller. And Charlotte looking at who they've got. Walker runs the point with Stevenson flanking him. Bismack Biyombo is out there with Henderson. And it's Jefferson in at the 5 down low. Kicks it to Meeks. Jacks up a 3. Rebound, Kemba Walker.
Tell you what, they haven't wasted any time getting into the swing of things on the boards.
Yeah, even though it's a great sign for them for the rest of the game.
Buckets. He's checked in for Gerald Henderson. The Detroit Pistons, a proud franchise, of course, from 03 to 08, 6 consecutive trips to the Eastern Conference Finals. And Clark in 2004, the NBA title.
But the rebuild process has had its hiccups, Kevin, its speed bumps, if you will, some questionable free agent signings. There's talent there, but this team hasn't quite figured out how to come together.
Williams sets a screen for Jennings. Pass to Monroe. Over in the corner, Meeks. 6 to shoot. Outside Jennings. Shoots. No good. That would have tied it.
Looked like he rushed that one, guys. The defense was out of position. He was wide open, just couldn't take advantage. Yeah, he put himself in great position to finish that break off, guys.
Yep, right to the rack.
Clark, they've been looking out of sync offensively.
You know what? A basket here would do a lot for their confidence.
Prince dishes to Jennings. Monroe with a screen on Walker. Off the pick. And Monroe, the bucket on the assist by Jennings. Jennings has got 3 assists tonight. Charlotte has gone a meager 1 of 6 from three-point land since we got started tonight. Buckets, guarded by Prince. Three-pointer. Rebound, Detroit. Tough loss coming against the Rockets in the last game they played.
I didn't like the defensive game plan they had going into that one. It just seemed out of whack. The matchups were wrong, and they didn't bring the energy necessary either.
You know, it was befuddling to me why they stuck with that, Steve. I mean, they dug themselves a hole, and then they didn't make the changes they should have to get out of it. Didn't make any good adjustments there.
Walker the pass to Buckets. To the wing right side. He kicks it to Biyombo. Unloads. No good off the front iron.
You know, he's been off his game this quarter just a bit. Hasn't been able to get a whole lot to go so far.
Monroe sets a screen for Jennings. Right side Jennings. Out to Monroe. A 3-ball. No luck.
Playoff spots hang in the balance. John Wall and the Washington Wizards go up against Al Jefferson and the Charlotte Hornets.
Well, it's been a time so far as we get the second quarter going back here. And before we move on, what do you guys think about what we've seen so far from Detroit?
And I thought the key in that first quarter was the offensive aggressiveness. They attacked the rim and got to the foul line.
And I sense they're really feeling good about playing at home, taking advantage of the home court.
So on the floor for Charlotte to start this second quarter. Buckets in at the 3. Henderson out there with Williams. Then it's Cody Zeller. And it's Kid Gilchrist in at the 4 spot. Pistons trailed by 3. Jackson with it. 14 points from him the last game against the Rockets in Houston.
I thought his rebounding was impressive as well, guys. He made some big boards, really helped out on the glass, helped his team out big time.
Boy, he really bungled that finish.
Now the pass to Buckets. And misses it off the right side of the rim. Well, you knew that Andre Drummond was oozing with potential, but that P word, potential, you know, can quite often be as much of a curse, Clark, as it is a boon, but he just blossomed last year.
Yeah, he really did. I mean, with the way he moves around the floor at his size, you had to know that if he started to put it all together, He would be a game-changing talent, and he showed flashes of that and made a big leap last season.
No good from Buckets.
If he can improve on what's been a shaky day for him thus far, they could stretch this lead out.
And with that, the Hornet lead is cut to just 1 point on the basket from Butler.
Boy, he made a nice little bounce pass there. We call that the pocket pass, and he did it well. Let's see where Charlotte sits right now in the league rankings. Second in opponent points per game. Fifth in overs per game. And they're in the top half of the league in shooting from deep as well. This is a strong suit for this team, knocking down those shots from behind the arc.
Yeah, those are all good points, Clark. And to me, the one that stands out, the one statistic that you mentioned is the opponent's points per game, because this team obviously gets after it defensively. They just try to blanket the opposing offense, and they do it because you can tell they're well prepared for each and every offense that they face on a nightly basis. And you said with Drummond, you know, the movement and fluidity of him, he makes the extraordinary seem so easy at times. Very much a highlight reel machine at such a young age.
He hangs in there and cashes in on the second chance points. Drummond's got his first 2 points.
You got to love his position near the hoop, anticipating the play and getting the putback.
Here's Buckets. Here's Zeller. And he uses the glass on the layup. Zeller's got his first 2 points of the night.
You know, when the size advantage is that pronounced, I mean, that's exactly what you should do offensively in this situation. Take it strong to the middle.
You know, the highlight plays will always be there for a guy like Drummond. Size, speed, athleticism. But, you know, he was able to take on a lot more minutes last year and did not see an incredible efficiency drop-off, which is impressive. I think that could be just a sign of things to come for this young man.
Here's Buckets. The shot is off. And it's Detroit the other way. Last time they met was in Charlotte, where they beat the Hornets.
Yeah, and it seemed like the difference in that game, guys, was the defensive effort. They forced a lot of turnovers, and that allowed them to get out and get some easy looks in transition.
The feed to Kid Gilchrist. 5 to shoot from the wing. Good, he hits the jump shot. That's 7 points for Buckets. And let's go back to what Steve just said. Such a strong defensive performance they turned in last time.
Well, you know what was remarkable about it, Kevin, was how many turnovers there were. I mean, it wasn't all about defense. There was some sloppy ball handling taking place on the other side, too.
The kick outside to Butler. Can't tie it up as that one's no good. Charlotte leading by 3. Let's go now to the sideline and catch up with Doris Burke. Hey, Doris.
Well, Kevin, Al Jefferson, a veteran leader, and he's changed the Hornets locker room. A former coach, Doc Rivers, said, you know the people in your life who just bring sunshine? That's Al. He brings it wherever he goes. And guys, Big Al said of his young teammates, I don't talk much, but they really wanted to listen.
Doris, just an easygoing guy. Great presence. Thank you.
And the generous spirit, too, Kevin, is Al Jefferson. I mean, in Utah, he never hesitated to mentor their young guys.
Jackson against Henderson. Now the dish to Caldwell Pope. It's good. The assist this time from Jackson. Jackson's got 3 assists now in this one. The Hornets have gotten just over 50% of their shots to drop here in the second quarter. They're 5 for 9. Here's Buckets. No good on the triple. Pistons trail by 3. It's not very often you can say this about the future is looking pretty bright in Charlotte.
So often the season ends and you're thinking about the issues you've got to deal with, but right now the Hornets headed in a good direction.
Caldwell Pope. Second shot opportunity. Oh, trying for it. The Pistons rebound. Dishes it to Tolliver. Caldwell Pope kicks to Butler. Tries it again. No good off the back of the rim.
Been a real difficult game for him offensively, and it's cost him.
Definitely a 2-for-1 situation here, guys.
Yeah, the wise move would be to find themselves a quick shot right away.
It's a neck-and-neck game in Detroit. Clark, they've been struggling here on offense.
Yeah, a little bit of cottonmouth here. Dry spell for sure.
It's 9 seconds separating the shot clock and game. Kid Gilchrist with the steal.
Probably should hold for one shot here. Clock is on their side.
Yeah, no brainer. They can hold it for the last shot.
Two on the clock. Shot is off. And
Well, Karan, what?
All right, fellas, still anyone's ball game right now. A few things from the first half.
we have a close ball game on our hands as we get set for the second. Sean Williams checks in for Detroit. The Hornets also changing it up. Biyombo checks in for Cody Zeller, and Brian Roberts subbed in for Gerald Henderson. Jennings and Meeks in the backcourt. Williams is out there with Monroe. And it's Prince in at the 3, the small forward. That's the group for Detroit right now. Detroit making a switch. Jackson's checked in. Charlotte, Michael Kidd-Gilchrist is checked in for Bismack Biyombo. And it's Buckets in for Lance Stevenson. Outside, Walker. Passes it to Buckets. With the shot. Here's Jefferson. No good. Good work defensively by Monroe. Pistons trailed by 5. Here's Jennings. Rejected by Walker. 1:44 left in the third quarter of the game. And so he draws the foul on the shot. A trip to the line to shoot 2. Well, there's no lack of range in this. The leading three-point shooters among the ranks of the NBA's big men the last month. And a chance to catch up on some numbers here. The scoring breakdown for Charlotte.
These long-range shots look like layups out there, guys.
Another thing they've done tonight is work the ball into the paint for plenty of those close-range points. You got to have those.
And the first one drops. Butler, he's checked in for Tayshaun Prince. And a switcher also for Charlotte. Williams is checked in. Both shots good from the stripe.
Boy, his free throw shooting, just another reason he's such a good all-around player.
Jennings kicks to Jackson. Hit his leg. And the ref saying he kicked it. So it's the Pistons now. They trail by 7. Left side, Butler. And he's got his first free throw of the game. That free throw good from Butler. And both free throws good for Caron Butler. 1:27 left in the third. Williams kicks to Roberts. The kick out to Williams. Pass to Buckets. 6 on the shot clock. Cranes the 19-footer. Buckets got 9 points. And there was a recent report that he and a teammate were seen at the gym putting in extra shots, trying to get things right. Clark and their shooting.
Well, that kind of work ethic is what professionals are supposed to have and model. After the game he had, I'm sure he would have wanted a chance to put up some extra shots as well. I mean, he struggled in that ball.
Makes a difference, though, doesn't it?
Yeah.
That extra time. Here's Jackson. Detroit, no good that time either.
Well, I think he had all the space he needed. He just couldn't find the bottom of the net.
Buckets, guarded by Jackson, pushing their lead to double digits. And 12 points for Buckets.
So hard to try to play defense with the height mismatch out there that's on the perimeter, and they gave up the three-pointer.
Here's Jackson. It's rebounded by Charlotte. Outplayed in the previous game on their schedule, losing to the Raptors.
And that night, guys, they didn't resemble the team we're used to seeing, either as individuals or as a unit.
Steve, I thought there was really a lack of leadership. Nobody really gathered the team and tried to rally them. And sometimes you have to do that with your body language and your voice. To me, that was the most disappointing thing about the loss.
And to where they